Hey everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. I said in a couple of previous videos I might do a little story on this barn. I really would like to get my uncle to get on camera to tell the true history of it. But this barn actually was a two-story house, and it's set on the property roughly 150 yards from where it is now, and it was taken down and moved. I want to say it was my great-great-grandfather's home place, but I may be wrong on that. But you can see the original beams. Pan over a little bit. It's been added on to after it was put back up. A wagon top there. This part over here is the concrete block section. You've probably seen in other videos the back side of it. Just made into some horse stalls. My grandfather and my mom was really big into showing horses. Kept their horses in here. There's a loft upstairs there. Over the concrete part. Go back over here. There's a big loft there. I can remember putting many a bale of hay up there throughout the years. A lot of history right here. A lot of history. Goes back many years. Okay, get a little shot of the other building. Okay, here's the outside of the same barn we were just in. This is the concrete part that was added on many years later. Again, like I said, original home place. The big beams there. Just moved and set back up. It's actually a two-story, believe it or not. Okay, we'll move over here to the little garage shop area, if you will. I'm working on this part. We had a couple of pieces of tin get gone many years ago, and just like the fields neglect, one thing led to another, and the rock got the best of it. So it's falling in. The main beams are gone. So plans are to take this end of the building down, right there at the concrete column, just add a wall back to the back, shorten the shop up, or the building, if you will. Hope to get to that before the bees and the snakes get bad, but again, there's so many things to do here at the farm, whether it be messing in the dirt, buildings, fabrication, farm equipment, you name it, it goes on. I'm going to do an equipment tour one day. I'm not going to go over the tractors there. I'll just keep two of them in there. But again, beside the little red tractor, we're going to just put up a wall and close that in and get rid of the rest of that. The building's in bad shape. It goes back many years. I actually added a lintel in on the main beam there this past summer to help support it. Still got somewhat of a bow in it. And I did have a few requests for my little shop. It's not much. It's more nostalgic than it is anything. Said grandfather and uncles and cousins and stuff spent a lot of years in this little shop. It's just 16 deep by 16 wide block shop. I built the wall out here, gosh, probably 25 years ago. Had a garage door up when I first started. That's long since gone. Chipboard's rotting off. Two before still got, I need to redo it. I have plans to, I've got another beam to put up. This one's got a sag in it too. It's not near as bad due to the fact of the stud wall inside. But put another beam up here and do away with this wall and make some 8-foot double hinge barn doors, if you will, that swing out. It'll gain me an extra 8 feet out, and then double hinged over, and I can close it in. Won't necessarily have a roof on it, but in the summertime when the sun's blaring down, it'll helps with the rain. And I mentioned the building in a previous video, the 75 by 24 building. We're not sure if we're gonna put that back up or just use parts of it. So I may end up using some of it just to extend off of this building out, maybe 12 foot, like a little lean-to, if you will, on it. But anyway, shop tour, nothing to see, nothing to see. Limited amount of tools, limited space. I do have a concrete floor, which is a blessing. I've added a few LED lights. You'll see in the summertime I sweat profusely, so I've got my big fan up there to help keep me cool. Of course, the wood stove. That's pretty much the gist of it. We have this building, my little shop, and the barn for right now. So there's a lot of storage area that needs to be built to keep this equipment in. One day at a time is all I can do. Okay, bring you back for a little something different here shortly. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cram the small equipment tour into this video also. Get all this behind me. I'm sure you guys are not really that interested in all this. The K-Gleaner, you've seen it in several videos. One I just purchased. This is the main harvest machine for the farm when that day comes. Like I said, runs like a sewing machine. All the glass is in the cab. Needs tires on it. Need to do some brake work. The feeder beater, as Mr. Scott's farming and referenced. Tires hold air, that's a plus. All the belts and whatnot are good. Not gonna go over this too much. You've already seen a lot of that. I will throw this in there. 110 gallon fuel tank I use for keeping fuel for here at the farm. Have a gentleman that delivers it to us at a really good rate. Did have it in my truck for a while, but it's just as easy to keep it here. It's temporary. Got to put it in a different spot. Again, so many things to do. I don't know if you want to consider it a redneck storage building or not, but this is a old U-Haul truck body that I got back in the summer. Took it off the frame. Been sitting for, I don't know, 22, 23 years, I believe. Doesn't leak. Good dry storage. I'm adamant in my shop about not using a shop for storage, so I try to keep limited things in the shop. That's a work area, and keep all the things that I don't use on a daily basis in the storage building. Okay, moving along. Okay, I've referenced this one in several videos. This is a 770 Oliver 6-cylinder gas with a front end loader, if that's what you want to call it. It's not much. Got this tractor back in the summer, did some trading with a gentleman. Back tires are almost new. I've had to rebuild the front wheel. This is one of those that I was talking about. I had to cut the center out of one and weld the tabs back on. It actually exploded on me one day when I was putting air in it. Thank goodness I had my back turned. Good tractor. Use it pretty much every day that we're in the fields here. When I got it, it had an extensive hydraulic leak. It was leaking into the rear end housing, pouring out on the main shaft that runs up. Any of you guys know anything about Olivers? Pulled the hydraulic unit off of it and put all new seals in it. Checked the gears in the unit. All those were good in the pump. Put a new seat cover on it. It's got a 3-point hitch. It's getting kind of dark. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. I'm talking to a gentleman about the hydraulics here. Right now, I have to unhook the bucket control to run the 3-point. This is a little bit aggravating, but again, talking to a gentleman, and Mr. Chris Lucy, the Oliver go-to guy, and he seems to have informed me that there's possibly a way to get a, I think it's considered Power Beyond, so I can set it up and run all my stuff on one. Waiting to get back in touch with him on that. Good tractor, uses no oil, doesn't smoke. Did take the muffler off, put a straight stack on it. I love the sound of these 6-cylinder Olivers. Did have a set of new front tires for it. Ironically, those are on the chisel plow now. Not chisel plow, disc plow. Mounted them back in the summer and made it 2 laps with a bush hog and had honey locust thorns in them. So I'm not going to ruin new tires. Took them off, put the old ones back on. Believe it or not, made it the rest of the year. Okay, moving on. The B414 International. We bought this tractor, my dad did, I think when I was 18 years old. I'll be 44 this year. This is a working machine for what it is. Never had any trouble out of it. We bought it from an auction sale. The clutch was stuck. Drug it up and down the road, did everything we knew to try to get it broke free. Finally ended up having to split the tractor, break the clutch loose, put it back together. Used it for a couple of years. It set, and somehow or another water got down in the exhaust pipe. I think it was rusted off or something. I can't really remember now, but anyway, we ended up having to pull the head off of it and have a valve job done. Again, that's at least 20 years ago, if not more, that was done. Same original Safe Mark tires. They have been through the ringer. There's not much tread left on them, but I've never had a flat. I should be knocking on a piece of wood here, but I'm not. We just got some old 16-inch mud grips on the front. Tractor runs good. It is getting tired, starting to smoke, use a little bit of oil, but the amount of service that we've got out of this little machine, it has paid its dues for sure. Added the seat for my dad. It just had a metal pan seat on it. Put one of those universal, I hate to say it, Ford seats on International, but anyway. And this is the 5-foot bush hog that I was referencing the other day. This has been here at the farm for about as long as the tractor has. This is what we used to bush hog with. Started out with a 641 Workmaster when I was probably 8 years old, 8 or 9 years old. That's what we started mowing with. Turned it into a show tractor, so we stopped using it and bought this. Okay, moving on. Do have a couple of straw choppers that came with the combines. The one in the rear here is for the K, and that one is for the F. The K is spoken for Mr. Scott. Of course, you've seen the disc that we just picked up Saturday. Not going to go over much on the trailer. Got some work to do to that. You've seen that in previous videos. I apologize, it's getting dark. Try to wrap this up. Here's the grain head I got with a K. It's a little worse for wear. More interested in the corn head, but I will be repairing this one day. Of course, the 1086, you've all seen that in videos. Good tractor. Did some trading on it. Picked it up. Had the turbo seals were bad. I ended up putting a new turbo on it. New exhaust pipe. And I put a disconnect on the batteries, which are still bad. Had issues with that the other day. Tires are good. Not good. I shouldn't say that. They hold air, we'll put it that way. 3-point works good. PTO's fine. The torque amplifier is in low range, and mixed emotions on that. Everybody has their own opinion. It does what I need it to do. It has all summer, and I think it will continue. If it's not broke, I don't fix it. That tire over there, back in the summer, got several honey locust thorns in that, and I'm going to tell you what, that is a job. Me and a friend of mine tackled that on the tractor, pulling the tire off, taking the tube out, picking the thorns out, and putting it back on by hand. I would not suggest anyone to do that. Can be done. I'm not an expert. That was a job. Okay, moving on. The 10 shank chisel plow Taylor Way. You've seen that already. Seen it in use. I did mount the tires on it. Those are off the K Gleaner. Already told you about that. Move back here to the 14-foot John Deere Gyromore, I believe it's called. This is a beast. Me and my dad picked this up dirt cheap. Disadvantage, it doesn't have wings, doesn't fold. We had to open up some gates. But I'm going to tell you what, this is a mowing machine. If the tractor will go over it, this thing will cut it. And when you get finished, it looks like you've mowed the field with a 0-turn mower. Hydraulic cylinder was on it. We had to, let me raise this up right quick, hang on. Okay. Had to rebuild the slip clutch in it. It was slipping really bad when we first got it together. Believe it or not, got all the parts from John Deere, and they were reasonable. Got that fixed, mowed with it for about 2 weeks, and wrung the drive shaft out. Local drive shaft shop made that for us. You don't even want to price one of those at John Deere. This side's still original. So far so good, no problems there. I thought I might show you this. I got so tired of flat tires. I think I had 6 sets of tires on this bush hog when we were mowing those honey locust trees. So finally, I just did away with it, and I made a set of steel wheels. It's just 5 lug spindles that I bought at Northern Hydraulics, or Northern Tool rather, with a Ford Ranger wheel welded inside of a 20-inch 2-ton Ford wheel. Can't go flat if there's no rubber. Never had any more issues. I don't think I've showed this in any of the videos. You might have seen a little smidgen of it, so thought I'd go over that. Let's move on. Okay, back to the Ford Ferguson. This is my grandfather's. Many acres of hay have been mowed with this. Had a side mount sickle mower on it. My dad has told me so many stories of it. They say my grandfather worked on it more than he got to use it. But it has a lot of history. I started 15-20 years ago taking it apart. All the sheet metal's good. There's hardly not any dents in it. Believe it or not, it does run. Not very well, but it does run. We kind of had to move it around from spot to spot here at the farm. I hope to possibly get it in the shop and do a complete restore on it. It's not going anywhere. It's got to find the time. I can remember playing on this tractor when I was 4 or 5 years old. It used to sit out here in front of the barn. Okay, moving on. This is my dad's little Ferguson. Got the 4-cylinder diesel in it. Runs good. He bought this back in the summer. He wanted something a little smaller, easier to get my grandson on and off of to ride with him. Got it covered up right now. Again, we don't have any shed storage space. No issues with this at all. Needs a bigger battery in it. It's a little tough to start, being that I don't even want to say it on camera. I don't think it's Continental, it's something else, the 4-cylinder diesel. I mean, nice if it was the Perkins 3-cylinder, but anyway. This bush hog is the first one we ever bought. I can remember going to pick this up with some other farm equipment that we purchased with a Ford tractor. I couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 years old, and it still works to this day. A couple of drive shafts, needs a little bit of welding on it. Gearbox doesn't hold oil, we put grease in it. My dad was mowing all summer with it. Little Ferguson. Bring you back short. Okay, F600 Ford, little dump truck we use here on the farm. Runs like a sewing machine, no issues there. Just use it to move stuff around on the farm. You've all seen my 87 L8000. 3208 Caterpillar. Came out of West Virginia. Was an automatic truck. The gentleman I bought it from changed it over to Eaton Fuller 10-speed. which I like. It doesn't have a 2-speed rear. I got a highway gear, still low enough to get going. It's not a show truck by no means, but it does the job. The lowboy here, you've seen that in the previous video. There's upcoming projects on all this stuff. Won't bore you with that. The little 655 Allis-Chalmers loader, just used that Saturday to unload the disc. That's what I've done all my clearing with. The only issue we've had is the starter went out on it. Other than that, keeping the tracks tight, checking the oil, really never fails to start. Bring you back soon. And we come full circle back to the disc plow. You've all seen plenty of videos on this. Like I said, there's not much here at the farm yet. I'm working on it. Started with nothing. We're gonna make something. A lot more still to buy. A lot more still to repair. A lot more still to do. Just thought I'd show you a little tour of the buildings and the barn and the equipment that I have thus far. Thank you all for watching. Hope you consider subscribing for more. Thumbs up if you like what you see. Hope to get back on this disc plow this week. Thank you again for watching. Till next time. Thank you.